Hi, Stat Teacher friends. My name is Erica Chauvet. I'm also a statistics teacher and an AP Stat reader. And on the side, for fun, I work for BFW Publishers. So I put together this question bank, and I'm going to go ahead and give you a tour. So let's take a look at Practice of Statistics 7th edition. There are 9 units. Each unit has a multiple choice question set and an open-ended question set. To view what's available to you, you just simply drag and drop. So let's take a look at the multiple choice. There are 229 multiple choice questions available. The first thing I do always is change it to all questions because I like to be able to scroll through all of them, not just simply 10 at a time. And you can do that very quickly here in the side panel, and it really does react very well. So it's nice you can scroll through and see what's available. If you do not have the learning objectives shown, I recommend selecting that to be shown. You can do that under Set, and there's an option to display question information. And this is called learning objective. I know we call them learning targets, but it is right here. And then you can see what section the questions come from as well as what their learning target is. So it's nice and easy to make sure that you choose questions that cover all the different learning targets. Now let's take a look at the open-ended. So I'm going to go ahead and close right here by clicking on the X. And let's look at some open-ended questions. In Unit 1, there are 98 open-ended questions. Again, I'm going to go ahead and select a View All. And some of the questions are created in sets of 3, and some of the questions are just kind of unique. So as I scroll through, here's a question that's kind of unique. Here's a question that's kind of unique. Here we're going to come upon a set of 3. Now the sets of 3 are really good if you teach like 3 sections of stats because they're basically the same question but different data. And so you can give like identical questions across different sections where they test the same thing but not exactly with the same data set. So here's a table with these questions that follow, followed by another version of it where you have a table, different tables, but the same questions, and then another one. And so I like to use those whenever I teach multiple sections, and I'll kind of handpick and build things that way. But you'll also find questions that are unique. So there's some unique ones, and then here you come across another set of 3. So make sure you take a look for those sets of 3 because they're really great for creating same type of tests but different questions. Okay, so now that we got that underway, let's go ahead and create a test. So let's close this. This is your viewing panel, so you're always going to look at things over here. Let's create a new test. Let's call it Unit 1 Test, and we'll suppose we're going to do like multiple versions or something. So let's call it like Unit 1 Test A. Now, where do you want it to be stored? Let's go ahead and store it in the Unit 1 folder so you can keep your tests really organized by just putting them in the right place. You can build a test like super quick with random selection. Keep in mind, you don't know what you're going to get. This right here is random selection. It might cover the learning targets. It might not. You might be happy with the questions or you might not. Here you can build a test with random selection with a little more control, such as you can select like so many questions out of each learning target. But remember that some of those open-ended questions are in triples and you wouldn't want to select more than one of them. But when you use this option right here, that is a possibility. I prefer option number 3, which is just pick what you want. So let's go ahead and do that. Now here's our test. It is blank. I'm going to go ahead and close it so that I can look at the questions and start to pick and choose. So let's go ahead and open up this multiple choice question bank. Let's take a look at all of them. And if this is a unit test, I would pick and choose across, all the learning targets. And the test, remember where we stored it, is right here. So this is basically a section here where all your tests are going to be stored. And these are all your questions up here. So you just pick what you want. Like here, I like this question. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop and put it over here. And so then it's going to take just a second and there it is. And you can just scroll through and make sure you cover your learning targets and you can just pick and choose. So I really like this method because it's really super easy to see and preview the questions. You get to see the whole question. And don't worry about the letter answers because you can scramble those. But you just pick and choose. And so let's suppose that we're good with our multiple choice. And let's go ahead and open up our open-ended. And we can go ahead and pick an open-ended question or two. Maybe like this one here. These are often multi-part, so keep in mind they're going to take up some space. And we'll just pick one more. Maybe we want to do this comparing distributions. Okay, and so now let's look at what we have. So once you're done picking and choosing, you can take a look. This is your viewing panel. So you just drag your test over here and look at it. Say, oh, okay, I like this. Maybe you didn't like the order. Maybe you're like, oh, I want this one to come first. It's just another drag and drop. And so it's very simple. It renumbers it for you. It's nice and easy. When you go to print your test, you have what I would call two main options. You can make a PDF. You can make a single version or multiple versions very easily. Let me show you what I mean. It'll print an answer key. It'll give you little lines if you want them. You can have a little extra space between your questions. You can scramble the questions. You can scramble the answer choices. And then you can just print. However, if you're doing a PDF, you're going to get stuck in the spacing that you get unless you have a PDF editor. So my preferred method for printing a test is to export it as a Word document. And when you do an export, it is going to take just a moment. It's actually pretty fast, where you'll kind of like zoom across here. And you can download it. And that just gives you the ability to completely adjust your test however you want it to be. And so here's the questions that we picked. Maybe we don't like that this table is here, and then it's like, carried over to the next page. So we can just give a little extra space there, and you can do all the regular functions of Word. So you want to like tuck that over to the next page. You want to give yourself, or the kids, I should say, a little extra space. You can do that. So you can make this one be a whole page. Very easy to customize what your layout looks like whenever you are doing this. And see, I would want the graph to go onto the next page. So, do whatever you need to do to pull that back a little bit and make sure that it is exactly how you want it to be. So that didn't take me too long at all. Answer key is right here. Just make sure that you don't staple this to the back of your student's test when you run those off. That would not be good. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video, and I hope that this test generator helps make your work just a little bit easier this year. Enjoy!